Hey there, welcome back to Sea Power. Welcome to Operation Iron Shadow. It is September 4th, 1985. We are here just west of Gibraltar to intercept a NATO convoy. This NATO convoy consists of Mount Baker and Mount Hood. Both of these ships, of course, heavily escorted because they have a critical mission delivery to Gibraltar from London. We, the Soviet Union, don't like that, and this means that we're going to have to eliminate these ships. I tweaked the mission a bit, because originally in this mission you get control over 5 Soviet submarines, which I think is a bit much considering their capabilities. So I reduced the amount of firepower that I have to just 2 submarines. Primary objective, sink and identify first and then sink the supply ships. Enemy escorts, the Stanley, a Belknap. This is apparently now a British guided missile cruiser. We have the Spruance class and we have the possibility of additional British escorts. There's also potentially patrol submarines, there is Spanish P-3 Orion support, and intensive sonar surveillance in the Strait of Gibraltar. So we are to utilize our geographical advantage and remain undetected. Very good. We are to identify these ships and eliminate them. Civilian ships are in the area and we cannot sink them. What's interesting about this, I cannot lose either of my subs, so not the 524, not the 323, and I have to try and avoid encounters with the escorts for some reason. Engage in direct conflict with escorts only if absolutely necessary. Well, it's nice that Moscow says that, but I am the one on the scene. So if I deem it absolutely necessary, I will do exactly what I want. Let's have a look. What's the situation? We're doing 10 knots. This is the K524. She is armed with a couple of carrier killers. That's a 65-76 with a range of 27 miles. We have Test 71s to use against submarines, range of 13.5. We've got USAT 80s, multi-role torpedoes, submarine and surface contacts. About 10-mile range, pretty quick, 48 knots. And then we have Stallions. These are capable of delivering a torpedo out to about 10 miles away. I typically don't use these. I've frequently had comments saying, hey, why don't you use them? Well, I am so used to keeping my submarines hidden that I typically don't want to give my position away by launching a cruise missile. Or rather, an anti-submarine rocket in this case. So I prefer to send a torpedo and then dogleg the torpedo. So let's say first send it northwest and then send it northeast. As opposed to just saying, hey, here I am, and you're going to get a torpedo delivered by missile. We also get access to the Courant, which is a submarine decoy. I'm not sure how well the game actually manages with these. I don't really think I've ever had the AI go after them, but that's mostly to do with them typically not detecting me. The 323 is what I believe a Victor 1. So she is slightly older, doesn't have the same capabilities, but with her Set 65s, she can definitely be useful against submarines, and her 53-65Ks are wakehomers. And I've seen those definitely inflict some damage. Our conditions. We are below the layer. I'm going to get one of the subs above the layer. I think they have the same type of sonar array. We got a hull-mounted sonar. The MGK 500, which is not what you're equipped with. Okay, so here's the plan. The Victor 3 is going to be the Hunter. And this one's going to be the killer. So I'm going to have this sub go to above the layer. We're going to stream the towed array. The towed sonar array. I'm not going to go with any of this formation nonsense because it typically doesn't work on submarines that well. And I am going to try and first detect something. Seeing as we are pretty close to Gibraltar, there's a fairly high chance that we'll see a lot of civilian shipping. Of course, as much as the mod creator, or rather the workshop creator, has put in. Okay, what do we have? What are you? A couple of these might be unfamiliar. I mean, the Zeven Provincia is a mod that I'm currently testing. We got the Lafayette, the Kangding, which is basically a Lafayette. We don't know what this is. We got no confidence in our abilities at the moment. We'll have to develop that contact. You got apparently a ship on land. Rather doubt it. It has 780 feet below the keel, so it's not there. It's somewhere in that ellipsis. We have a pretty noisy contact here. What are you? Our confidence with this one's better. Just let it develop. We also got one very noisy boy over to the east. Oh, there's another. Very noisy boy. I suspect you might be a merchant. Just based on the fact that we can detect you from all the way over here. 60 miles out. I'm suspecting they're a merchant. This guy's fading in and out. I want you to turn starboard. I'm going to turn east a bit to try and get some better detection, especially with the towed array. I want to use the towed array as much as possible. If there are patrol submarines around, as they said, that could be diesel-electric boats, which will be very difficult to detect. If they are... Oh, what nation can they be? Let's have a look. What sort of submarines can we expect? Patrol subs. Type 205, German, with a torpedo of the DM1 and DM2. I think they have very low range. The DM2 is an anti-surface at 10 miles, the DM1 4 miles, so I can easily outplay that. You got the same torpedoes. A Cobham has the TP613 with a range of 10.7 miles, but it's only anti-surface. It's a surface hunter. The Albacore. Aren't those things hopelessly outdated? That's an anti-surface, anti-submarine torpedo with a range of 2.8 miles. You're a joke. The Daphne has the same loadout. The Foxtrot is ours, the Romeo is ours, and the Tango is ours. So, essentially, the submarines are not directly going to be a threat, but they can detect me. That can be a problem. So that's something I'll have to look out for. It's not like we can just easily ignore them entirely. Information. If it was an Okean, we'd probably have that for ourselves. So I'm going to say this guy's neutral. What do we got here? You are most likely another neutral. You. Track 7006. Most likely neutral. 7007 heading east 093. Doing 5 knots. Yeah, neutral. And this guy over here, fairly noisy, seeing as they're fairly close. Neutral. Alright. So, now we know about the neutrals. What are you? Another neutral. Neutral. You? Neutral. So, we got a lot of neutrals in the area. This can be good, it can be bad. The good, I can use them to sneak around. The bad, I can accidentally throw a torpedo in their face. Or rather, a torpedo can decide that it wants to hunt one of these things because it is so loud. And as such, I will probably fail the mission. Because I don't think I'm allowed to shoot a neutral. Okay, so if they're coming in from London, they're coming in potentially along the coastline here. They might do something like this. Seeing as the 323 is my hunter, I'm going to have you kind of along that course, where you'll arrive in about an hour and change. Hour and a half. Okay, let's see if you go deep. Increase the head standard. That'll get you there in an hour. That's good. Alright. If they are, in fact, coming in along this axis, I'm going to turn north to try and listen for them there. Let's stick with that plan for now and see what we find. Here we go. We have a contact. It's already classified as hostile, so we know it's a hostile warship, or rather a hostile ship. It could be our target, because this fleet auxiliary is the type of ship that we're looking for. We gotta find those and eliminate those. They are doing 14 knots heading southeast. This is doing 24 knots. I'm going to classify that as a warship because no merchant goes that quickly. We've got one doing 5 knots. Unknown. Given the fairly limited capabilities of this Victor 1 regarding torpedoes, about 10-mile range, I'm going to have to probably floor it to get to a better site. So let's say that this guy is, like, what's their speed? 14 knots, their course is 130. Okay, so from here, I'm going to map out where he's going to be in an hour. And then where, if this maintains his course, is going to be in 2 hours. There. If I want to get there, let's say about 5 miles out, I have 2 hours to get there. At present speed, it'll take me 7. So that's not acceptable. That is not acceptable at all. I can just remove this line because they apparently didn't quite take that route. Okay. Go very deep. Who do we have detecting this? The 323. Not the 524? You with your towed array, you can't see that? Might have to do with all these merchants getting in the way. This is a fast boy, by the way. 17 knots. According to what it should be, it's going to be a merchant, but it's a fast one. Could be a decoy, if you will, as created by the content creator, or the scenario creator. You're a neutral. I'm going to tell you to go deep. We now know where they are. We know where they're going to be. So I can start planning accordingly. Come over. Classified hostile C7017, yep. Lafayette, unlikely. Ticonderoga, Kidd, Spruance. Spruance is supposedly one of the escorts. Alright. I want you to increase to full speed, which will put me there at 1310. So that's with a bit of time to spare. That's good. It's also going to make me do some very noisy maneuvers. I'm hoping it's not going to cost me the sub, because that would be unacceptable. Alright, same plan for you. We're going to go very deep. Ideally, I have one submarine stay close to the surface and just detect things. But at the moment, I can't really afford that, because I don't know if the 323 is going to be able to win this fight all by itself. I might need those long-range carrier killers in order to deal some damage. The challenge that I always have with these things is that they're not that fast, and they have that enormous range. So, typically, by the time that your torpedo gets to where the target should be, if the target's to change course even minimally, it's going to be gone. Like, you'll have a very hard time detecting it, let alone hitting it. This is a pretty vulnerable part of the journey, because I'm going to be deaf on both subs. I do have some time to burn. Oh, that's new. Huh. I do have some time to burn, so let's say that I'm going to take a shorter course. I want to still be generally within that 5-mile range. Yeah, give or take. So I can have you try and execute the first attack. Or the second, and you go for the first. You got a 27-mile range on those torpedoes. I'm going to say we're doing about 20. Because I'm going to not trust that torpedo to hit at maximum range. I just don't think it can do it. There you are. Why are you flooring it at 24 knots? Spruance. Why are you so fast? Oh, by the way, the sea state is not great for NATO. Oh, you're launching a helo. Lovely. The sea state's not great for NATO. The worse the sea state, the more difficult it'll be to detect my ships, especially if I'm way below the layer. Does this thing come with a towed? Well, it's actively banging away on sonar, that's for sure. Not getting a towed array from them. Are you coming or going? I think he's trying to retrieve the helicopters. Curious. I don't exactly understand what this Spruance is doing, because at present speed, he's going to be unable to hear anything. He's going to be relying heavily upon the active sonar, which I kind of doubt will detect much. And the air ops doesn't need him to do 24 knots. They can land at 5. They can land the ship if it's stationary. So, I'm not exactly sure what's happening here. Then again, the AI on this game needs a bit of work. Anyway, this is Spruance. Maintaining 24 knots. Let's say this is going to maintain 24 knots at a course of 133. So it'll be... 133... It'll be about there. I mean, slightly more... Slightly farther back. Because I didn't put the marker on him, because I might not keep him detected. If he's going to be doing all sorts of weird shit like this, I don't mind him. I'm not supposed to engage escorts, so I'll try not to. But if he just wants to maintain his deafness, his stupidity essentially, I'm not going to interrupt him. 18 miles out. Okay. This could be useful. That's a merchant, yes? Most likely. Confidence is really low. We have him on the passive from the 323, but we're generating so much noise ourselves. Let's go ahead 1/3. Above the layer. I want you to come up and figure out what else is out there. Because we still need to detect our targets. I'm saying targets because they're supposedly 2, not 1. We still need to find the other guy. So where's he at? Where is the other guy? If I was escorting 2 merchants, I'd keep them in a group. Close together, so that my escorts can escort both. Good lord, we're deep. 800 feet. You are doing 1135 feet. This is costing me some precious time, though. But I don't mind trading time for information right now. This guy could be annoying for my detection. He might get in the way. We're about to... Where's your friend? Go shallow. Where's your protectee? Your protectee cannot keep up with you. Impossible. Merchants don't do 24 knots. Neither do fleet escorts. Or fleet auxiliaries. I think this Spruance is kind of bugged. Because it's just... It seems to be trying to retrieve helicopters, but it's not doing a great job at that. You're a merchant, yes? Yes, you're a merchant. Okay, so I don't need to worry about you. You're close. Where are you? Relative to 323, you should be due north. There he is. It's a row-row. A roll-on, roll-off carrier. Kiki delivery service. And this guy is probably the other merchant. Unless it's a Nox. In which case that would be annoying. I'm hoping we won't have that problem. I'd rather doubt it. It would be going the wrong way. I'm going to say neutral. Hello, who are you? 5 knots. Neutral. I think at this point the sea state might be working against me. Not great. Also not great. I have my submarines very close together. Very close indeed. Like 2 miles. If they detect one, there's a pretty decent chance that they'll detect the other. Should spread my assets out a bit more. Something coming in from the southeast, doing about 14 knots. Merchant. Are you still doing your weird helicopter stuff? Yeah, he's just locked into some bug where he's trying to retrieve helos, but seemingly can't. Alright. He's going to outrun me. At this point, he's going to run into North Africa before too long, so he won't be that much of a problem. Which is good, because that means we only have to worry about the Belknap. And our depth. Or rather, the depth that we no longer have. Because the closer you get, the shallower it becomes. Problem. Alright, I'm going to continue my race. Below the layer. I'm gonna get you over there, give or take. Because those carrier killers can definitely hit them by now. I only gotta detect them. You're below the layer. Increase the full. There's another merchant. He's making so much noise that even at 20 knots we can detect him. Below the keel, 50 feet. 40. We're changing depth automatically to try and keep up with it. There's no thermal layer. Lovely. Okay, so my detection is just going to be a problem now. Hi. Slow to 1/3. There's another. And another. What are we looking at? Or rather, what are we listening to? Range, 7 miles. 323, I want you to go ahead 1/3. Because we're getting very close to the enemy now. I don't want to lose any submarines without having to... So, let's be careful. What are you? Could be a Belknap. I'm going to assume hostile. You? Merchant. Could be that... Yeah, that's likely him. Okay, so you're the target. One of. You... Could be the other one. You're running at 14 knots. I have you at 10.67. Oh, if I send a wake homer, I could hit this neutral. I can definitely send this guy a wake homer. I could also just use a USET 80, which has the range, but barely. I think we might have to do one more sprint. But the problem is the depth. I don't have a lot of depth to work with. I'd rather be at about 6, maybe 5 mile range if I want to launch torpedoes at him. But this guy is too far. Okay, I had full. I have to try and catch up to him. I want to go ahead standard. Above the layer. We're preventing cavitation. So we're limited to 11 knots, 13 knots. At 15 knots I'm going to close in at 1 knot an hour, which is not good enough. There's no layer, but make it work. 20 knots. We might be able to use this merchant here as interference. And also I want to clear that contact. Are you still doing your... Yep. Hold on, he's retrieved a helicopter? Because there were 2 buzzing around. My aim here is to just snipe out the important targets. Eliminate those. Yep. That's our target right there. Right there. How are we detecting that? Oh, the 524. Makes sense. At 1/3. Okay. We're doing 8 knots. Ooh, is that an escort? Let it develop. We're gonna torpedo track 7025. This one. I'm gonna use 2 torpedoes, 2 USET 80s after that one. And these are wire guided, so I can... Actually, no, they're not wire guided. Crap! That's unfortunate. The Test 71 is only anti-submarine. Are these wire guided? No, they're just wake homers. Okay, fine. We'll just have to use 2 torpedoes in basically a direct shoot mode. Salvo 2. They're still doing a hefty 14 knots. He doesn't have sonar whatsoever. So it's not like he'll be detecting anything. Torpedoes are away. The problem is now, I am exactly getting a line from him back to me. So I think we might need to speed up again. Let's head southeast. Go back to a head standard. Because I am not at all interested in getting detected. Let's let those torpedoes run their course. Of course, if the AI was actually valuable in the ASW department, they would be very capable of throwing sonobuoys all around this formation. If I were to reverse this formation, or this mission, I think I would get these submarines. And I might actually play Blue 4. Because I think that would be an interesting challenge. Especially if you got 5 submarines that you need to hunt. That would be interesting. Anyway, first we're playing red. I still need to get this guy. 14 knots. Closing in at 20. Let's change course a bit. Now, these are active torpedoes, I believe. Yeah, active passive sonar homing. So they should have absolutely no problem hitting that. Should. Have you acquired? You have. You haven't? Really? You disappoint me. You're doing... Okay. What? Okay. I thought he was going to miss there. Hit. That's a big guy. Oh, there's the escort. This is a big guy. Oh, hold on. The torpedo's turned around. We're going to get 2 hits on him anyway. It's a big guy, displacing 20,500 tons. By comparison, I don't think the Spruance is as big. Just pause it for a sec. Boom. 2 torpedoes hit. I don't know if that's going to be enough. I don't know if that'll sink the guy. His stern is going down, that's for sure. I mean, yeah. Makes sense considering where the torpedoes impacted. But I have seen some of these ships take ridiculous amounts of damage and continue. Oh, crap, we're limited to 19 knots now. I only got 60 feet below the keel. I cannot really speed up more. There you are. Hostile. I don't think you're going to survive this, are you? Not with your bow sticking up that much. I would be very impressed if they were able to get this ship going again. But then again, this is sea power and stranger things have happened. So, there you go. He's gone. He's gone. That's one. Now we need to snipe the other one. If I try and torpedo him now, I don't have the range for that, because these only have a range of 10. But he's 8.7 away. So given that, and he's doing 14 knots, I don't think we'll have the range. Do we know where he's going? He's changed course to 144. Doing 14 knots. 144, 14 knots. 144. There, give or take. There's not a whole lot I can do to improve my intercept vector, I'm afraid. Oh, we're doing 15 knots now. I can start cavitating, but that'll make me really noisy. I'm not that interested in doing that. I might have to, though, to keep up with the guy, because I cannot catch up to him at 15 knots. 14 knots now. Buster. Oh, crap. There's the escort. Slow your ass down. 1/3. 1/3. So is this one of those situations where you go, yeah, the escort needs to die? Because it's a mile out. 2 miles. What are you? A Nox. Okay, is that Nox active or not? Yes. Okay, I'm going to assume extreme danger. This guy probably has the 323 on sonar. Salvo 2. Nox. Kill it. It's too dangerous to let it go. This other guy... What are you? A Belknap? You're part of this formation, that's for sure. The Nox is now doing 5 knots. Full stop. Make like a hole in the water. New passive contact, 7034. Yeah, that's him again. Hey, Noxy. He's probably hurt the torpedoes. He's thrown a noisemaker overboard and he's now increasing speed. I don't think that's going to work out for you that well. Because you don't have the speed. And you sure don't have the time. Had he been given enough warning, he probably would have made it away. Under current conditions, not as much. It's changing over to starboard. That's the S-Rock launcher! Oh god. Hold on. You're throwing those towards your west? He's throwing them at the 524. Shit. Shit. You're all stop. If there's a torpedo in the water, you can hear it. Go after that Nox and kill it. You. Change course. No, you're not supposed to hunt me down. Oh, it would be really annoying if I got hunted by my own torpedo now. He's doing 15 knots. Turn! Yep, Belknap confirmed. Oh, come on, dude. It's right there, and it's making a fairly healthy amount of noise. You should be able to find that and kill it. I'm going to get hunted by my own bloody torpedo. They're doing 50 knots. I don't have the speed. I can do 32 and that's flooring it. My target's getting away. Please don't find me. If only you could set these torpedoes up to be surface homing. Like hunt on the surface. Jeez, both of these missed? That is unfortunate. Your sensors are offline? What are you talking about? Give me 2. Tube 1, tube 2. Send it. Okay, at least I'm not going to get hunted down by my own torpedo. At 1/3. Change course southeast. I'm going to tell you to start moving again. So if this Nox is aware, that ASRock could come into play again, and I'm so close. He could hit me with a torpedo launcher, but I'm not sure why he's not using that. That Belknap? Is he a problem? Yeah, he has the RUR-5 as well, and the Mark 46. Yeah, he's a problem. And active. Lovely. And there's our target. I need to get in there somehow. I need to get closer to this guy. Nox, I want you to get dead. Yeah, a wake homer is not going to care about your decoy. Because a wake homer only cares about a wake, and a decoy doesn't have one. So he's going to pass the wake on one side. Then it's going to go, aha! There. What the... Oh, that's the other torpedo. Yeah, we found your wake. And this is very difficult to shake. Boom. That's one. Propulsion knocked out. 2. New passive contact, 7038. That's a noisemaker coming from the Nox. Fire's broken out aboard. I think he's toast. This Belknap's doing 14 knots. Oh, what the hell. Wake Homer. Carrier killer. Send it. Doing 50 knots. So they should bridge this gap very quickly. If it wasn't for the fact that this thing is doing 14 knots. How are you doing, Noxie? Not great. Oh, well, at least you've retrieved your helicopter, finally. You're welcome. So that's the Nox out of the water. Or rather, deeper into the water. The Belknap needs to die. After that, I can basically race up to this guy. If the Spruance isn't a factor. That's an important element. The Spruance has to not be a factor. The Belknap, do you have a towed array? You got a hull-mounted sonar, you got nothing else. So you're only looking for contacts directly in front of you. Floor it. We got places to be. Cargo ships to sink. Range, 3 miles. Now these are big torpedoes. The normal ones are 533s. This is a 65. So it's not a 53 centimeter torpedo, or I think 21 inch. This thing is even bigger. We have lost the contact. As long as the torpedo doesn't, that's fine. There's the target. Closing in, 8 miles out. If I want to get him, I'd rather be 6 to 7. I think this Belknap is completely unaware about the fact that he's about to get torpedoed. He doesn't know, he won't know, and he pretty much can't know unless they threw sonobuoys in. That would be one way to detect torpedoes. But I'm not sure if they... They do have a flight deck, so yeah, they might have one. He's still doing only 14 knots, he doesn't know. I really hope this Wake Homer's gonna find it. Oh, we got it. The ship is not where we thought the ship was. So we got it. Good. Knocked out propulsion. Stern underwater. Yeah, he got hit by a massive torpedo. He's not likely to survive that. Just for good measure, I can hit him again. But, I mean, look at his stern. I think he's done for. Which is good, because we got places to be. There. 7032. Still not detected. Still no propulsion from him, though. He's dead. He's gone. Alright, and there's the contact. That's 6 miles out. Now I'm feeling more confident about my ability to hit him. Okay, so we know where he is. I want you to slow down. I had 1/3. Avoid cavitation. And I want you to slow down. Standard. Avoid cavitation. I'm going to send 2 torpedoes after him. Send it. 1. 2. That ought to do it. That ought to do it. He's changing course. What are you doing? You're gonna try and head back to London? Is that what's happening here? He cannot be aware of the torpedoes. So this is something else. I just don't know if these wake homers are actually gonna find a wake now. Give me one more. The set 65s are useless. I think this might be the way to beat a wake homer. Just basically create a new wake, or rather just make sure that these things cannot latch onto anything. Because there is no wake, there's nothing here for them to find. I'm hoping that my other torpedo will be able to find something. New contact 7040. No, you're heading northwest, you're not a problem. Alright. This thing should find a wake. And with that, eliminate it. Yep, we got him. Good lord, you're close. 1 mile out. Give another. Because I'm not trusting this thing to sink due to 1 torpedo. I've seen ships take, what was it, 5 torpedoes, I think? Before they finally went down. This is also an interesting challenge, practice. Because I don't know if this thing still classifies as having a wake. Seeing as it's dead in the water. So I'm not sure what the torpedo is going to do. I'm thinking it might just try and sail steady. What sort of detonator we got on that? Oh, secondary explosion. Yeah. There's no wake. Which would be... Okay. This is an interesting way to defeat a torpedo like this. The 323 essentially cannot do anything against the stationary target. Because it does not have the weapons for it. This thing is going, wake? Where wake? Where? I don't know what to find. So, it can't actually hurt him. The only thing to kill this now is going to be an active/passive homer. So, a USAT 80. That multi-roll torpedo. The thing is, I don't think I need it. There we go! On behalf of the Russian High Command, we would like to extend our heartfelt congratulations to you and your crew. Your successful execution of the operation has resulted in the crucial supply line to Gibraltar being intercepted and sunk. Excellent. Job done. Now, let's have a look. Destroyed 1, 2, 3... No, 2 escorts. Of course, secondary casualty was the helicopter. And the Mount Baker and the Mount Hood. Now here's the thing about this mission, right? And stop watching right now if you don't want spoilers. Normally, you'd have 5 submarines. 5. That's a lot of weaponry. These German support units, these submarines, they have absolutely no business being where they are. They're trying to go ahead flank, but they're diesel electrics, so they simply cannot get anywhere quickly. So they're going to be draining their batteries in little to no time. So these guys are essentially way out of position. If I were designing this mission with that capability in mind, I'd say I'm going to put those here. So that if the player decides, well, I'm not really going to hunt these things here, I'm just going to wait here, they will find, or not find, German submarines waiting for them. Anyway, the mission is done. The mission's been completed. I think Operation Iron Shadow is interesting, albeit a little easy. All the more so because the AI doesn't really seem to know how to do ASW. So hunting convoys or even aircraft carriers with submarines is fairly easy. I'm really hoping that they're going to start learning to drop sonobuoys in a more predictable and consistent manner. So that at least as a player, you not only have to worry about it, but you can also sort of plan around it. Like, ah, okay, there's a sonobuoy, they might throw another one there. That would definitely make the game better. At any rate, thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed the video, and I shall see you soon for more.